I do, I don't like,
Oh, look.
I don't like photos. Oh, we're on,
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
5:02.
We're gonna call this meeting to order at 5:02 PM. And I ask for a motion to consider the proposed agenda.
Has it been fixed 15 times?
So moved.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, we have an agenda. Now, there's a public hearing scheduled tonight.
Oh, ratification first. Right, did I have that first?
No, you got it first. You got it
Okay.
first. All right, we need to actually, make a formal resolution, number 4718, to ratify the, public hearing for Island Detention Expansion. So I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. Now, about the public hearing. The board has on its schedule a public hearing for Island International Exterior Fabricators. And however, due to the need for additional information and the absence of counsel due to a family emergency, the agency will move to adjourn the public hearing until November 5th. Do I need an adjourn?
You do.
I'll make that
Okay,
motion.
thank you. Second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Now, please give me a motion to consider the minutes for the
Give you a motion to
September 10th, right?
A motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
A motion to consider the minutes from September tenth.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Any questions, considerations, changes, additions? Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
That motion is passed. We still have no correspondence?
Actually, we do.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I gave you some,
Oh.
this is really to the agency, no action or anything needs to be taken with it. Bob, what are you doing?
I was showing Tom, but you're passing it out?
Yeah, I'm passing it out to
Oh,
you.
you're
All
getting
right.
your own copy.
Oh, you have,
Oh, maybe there's too many.
need another copy down here?
That was be for
There's
Jordan,
that, and there's
not here.
also, a letter in your packet that's just an invitation to, a workshop.
What's it headed?
I'm sorry?
What's the head?
It's from
SBA
Ruskin
Executive?
Muscallon.
That's the one, okay.
Yeah.
October 23rd?
Yes, and I put it on my, calendar.
And what is it about? Well, I'll have to read through this at the moment.
They're gonna have some SBA officials
Okay.
doing a program, to discuss what financing programs they have available, as well as learn the federal procurement process and, anything for women-owned businesses. So
Okay.
really, it's just updating me on resources available. You might wanna go,
Where is this?
You
I'm sure
have
it's in
those
here.
offices?
I would assume it's in Uniondale,
Oh, gosh,
cause they didn't say.
Yeah.
Another trip to another,
Oh, Anthony Figliola, he's, I know that.
well, I know Jerry Carver.
Yeah.
Probably all do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And this doesn't require us to take any action, it's
Now,
just
the
notifying us?
other, right, the other, piece of correspondence is, notification that the Pine Barrens are selling
Credits.
credits, and wanted us to distribute to the, businesses or property owners, et cetera, and I have forwarded it to council, just to make sure that it's okay that we do
Mhm.
pass it on, via our email contacts.
So
Okay.
they're selling a little over 10 acres of credits, from what I can tell.
What's that?
Yeah, I just thought the info might be interesting to you, especially you.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
What are those credits worth these days, do you know?
88, on page 2,
Oh,
they're
okay.
$88,000. Pine Barrens credit, but it says that the credits will be sold in units of not less than 1/100th equals 0.01 of Pines. So I guess you can buy a portion
Buy
of
it
it.
fractionally.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
On to the treasurer's report. Mr. Kern?
Yes. Okay, so, the cash balance and people, still there, People's United Bank checking account as of September 30th, 2018 was $353,852.95. The revenues for the month of September 2018 included interest earnings of $9.16. Expenses for the month of September 2018 totaled $15,966.33. So we haven't made a move yet to,
It's coming, some discussion will come later.
oh, okay, then I'll yield my time.
Okay.
Get a motion to approve treasurer's report?
Yes. Need a motion to approve the treasurer's report? Someone? Second?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, and that's approved. Thank you, Bob. Committee reports. Okay. Audit. We have to adjourn for that one?
Yes, we
That's
need
the
to
one,
recess
okay,
this meeting.
I got it. All right, I'm asking for a motion to, stop,
Recess this meeting?
recess the, IDA board meeting, and that also includes a motion to, the same motion will also open the, board committee meeting.
I'll make that motion.
All right, second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. We postponed the, board meeting and we're into the, audit committee.
And that is, for the sole purpose of making a recommendation on the engagement letters of the auditors for this year.
Okay, and that's in here?
No, there's nothing in there.
No.
The letters were emailed a long time ago,
Yes. Remember that, should've brought them.
and there was no,
There's no findings,
comment?
there's no changes?
nope, right.
No. Any questions?
No.
All right,
You just need a
We need a
motion to
motion.
recommend.
so moved, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now, we need a motion to, close the committee meeting
I'll make a motion to close the audit committee meeting
and reopen the,
and reopen
IDA
the
board.
IDA board, okay?
second? Second. All those in favor, aye?
Alright.
Now, we have a governance report, so I'm gonna turn to Lori, as the chair, to tell us about that.
Okay, so the governance committee met on October 2nd to discuss some issues that had been raised at previous full board meetings. The first item of business was the consideration of the potential for matching exemptions from other IDAs, most especially the Suffolk County IDA, as is currently authorized in Article A1 of our Uniform Tax Exemption Policy. The committee discussed it in detail and at the end decided that, to recommend no changes. So, the UTEP will stay as it is. In terms of the fee schedule that was discussed, there were several recommendations, that were, voted on and approved for recommendation for adoption by the full board. The first item was to specify information for incomplete filings of compliance reports that hadn't been specifically addressed in our, in the current policy. A second item was to add a line at the end of the section of the schedule to reflect, a statement that references incomplete submissions and when the pro rata fees will commence. And it will be from the, we're recommending that it be from specified as the date of notification by the agency that the, report has some deficiencies. And then a third item, that was approved for recommendation to the full board was that the committee, increase the fee for projects over $10 million. And that recommendation is to make it 1/4 of 1% moving forward. In terms of the fee waiver policy, there was a discussion that a minor adjustment, would be, prudent, to remove reference to use of a particular form for requesting a fee waiver. We don't really use such form, we just request that they provide us some clarification through correspondence, and so we wanna just make sure that our policy reflects that, so people aren't looking for a form, we just want them to send us correspondence. And then the final item, the committee reviewed our online transparency efforts, including our website updates, project summaries, post-approval project synopses, and quarterly reports. And, the committee members felt that the quarterly report should only reflect actions taken by the board to avoid any duplicative efforts and to avoid confusion for someone from the public who might be looking at these various sources of information. And that the members felt that they were very satisfied with the results of the, items that we instituted, and thought that it was, working very well in terms of the increased transparency that we were looking to provide. So, what we would like to do is recommend, that the full board consider those 3 items, the, incomplete filings, the addition of the timeline for when a pro rata, fee will be instituted for an incomplete report, and the change in the fee schedule for those projects over 10 million. Can we do that all in one resolution?
I actually have 2 resolutions in your packet.
Okay.
For these, or do you have a resolution for something else?
There's one for the fee waiving policy itself, and there's one for the fee schedule. The fee schedule encompasses everything that was, talked about regarding the fee schedule, and, the fee policy is just taking out that form, which we
So
don't.
that's 2 motions, and then you have a
Correct.
motion for the rest of the committee report?
No, you don't have to adopt the committee report.
All right.
So, I just have one question on the incomplete application.
Okay.
So, because I know people have incomplete applications, is there a fee penalty, I mean, attached to that, or?
I believe, correct me if,
Mhm.
unless
Go
you
ahead.
wanna.
I'm just looking it up, cause I wanna see what these.
The way the policy stands currently, there is a deadline by which somebody has to submit a compliance report. And they could submit it before that deadline. By the time their report gets reviewed by the agency, it could be that a week has gone by. There's no, vehicle right now for determining what happens when
When it's
when it's
received and reviewed.
received versus when it's reviewed.
Right.
And so we just wanna clarify that.
Okay, good,
Okay?
yeah.
Cause someone may think, I don't have any fees due because I submitted it before the due date. But if it's incomplete, that's not the case.
Got it.
And that's redlined in the fee schedule resolution.
Yeah, what resolution?
It's number 56. Looks like this.
Okay,
So, it's
what I
the,
Get rid of.
late reporting compliance fee,
Mhm.
yep,
paragraph.
by the agency of the deficiencies, okay, got it.
So
Need
do
a
we
motion.
wanna do these resolutions
order?
now,
Sure.
right? They're
So we
not
can
on
do them
here,
separately.
somewhere else?
So what's the first motion?
So the first motion is, resolution 5618, which amends the fee schedule.
Okay, you're moving them.
I will make the motion to approve.
Second.
Who was that? Bob? Okay,
Bob.
thank you.
Any more discussion on that? You good? Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye. And the
Second part.
second is, resolution 5718.
No,
Oh,
55.
Sorry,
55.
55.
And that's also redlined, Bob, if you wanna look at that, what was taken out.
Yeah, no, I've got,
It just
Right.
strikes on the form provided by.
So I would like to move resolution 5518, amending, adopting, and confirming the fee waiving policy.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, thank you, that's passed. And the rest is just a report. Thank you,
Yes,
Lori.
that was it. Thank you.
Finance committee, there is nothing to report, we'll go on to old business. And the first item is consideration of the proposed 2019 budget. And that's, number 5018. Tracy, take us back to, we've already seen this.
So, initial draft was, created, it was reviewed, by this board, as well as having been sent to the town board. The municipality, who is offered an opportunity in 20 days to review and make comment, there were no such comments received. There were minor amendments made by this board, they were submitted to the board, no additional comments were made, and now we need authorization to submit this to Paris as our official budget for 2019.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to do that.
second.
All those in favor, aye?
Who seconded?
Nobody.
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Tom moved
Well,
it?
I made it, so,
Tom moved it,
Bob
Bob
Tom
seconded
did,
it.
oh, okay, I
Yeah.
didn't realize Tom could do it.
I messed them up, but
Yeah.
It's okay, I just got
so
thrown.
strike entertainment. All right, so that's approved. Second one is the engagement contract for auditors, which we do once a year, is that right? One, 118. Somebody got that one? I don't seem to have.
That was
I
the
have
one that
it
was
right
sent
here.
previous.
Oh, that's right, okay, thanks. I remember that.
Should be a reso in your packet, though.
Well,
Yeah.
there probably is. There's
Okay.
a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
I need to
I
put
know,
the
I was gonna put
glasses
separate
back on.
colors in between, but I just
Oh,
couldn't.
here it is.
Okay. Yes, that's what we were, okay. All right, so we need a motion, to propose the engagement contract, auditors.
Make a motion.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second.
any questions? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, that's approved. And then we need a consideration of delay of benefits for,
Peconic Management Group,
oh, that's
Phase
50.
3.
I'm trying to think of 3, okay, got it
Right.
now, it's in here. And it's number 5318. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that, just refresh us?
5218, and, I do have, Dr. and Mr. Meta here, if you want an explanation, but
Good evening,
they,
how are you folks?
Aye.
but they did, send in, sure,
You
come
may
on
not
up.
need it. Do you need help here?
It's up to the board, if they have any
Come on up.
additional
Sure,
questions, I had
come on.
forwarded the letter of
You came all the way down,
request.
it's always nice to chat with you. We have 2 seats, just, we knew you were coming.
I noticed you're breaking ground, which is great. I see
Yes.
the bulldozers go driving around over there.
How you been?
Good, how are you, sir?
Okay. You wanna start, you wanna tell us?
I had some
Brief here.
issues to get the TDR with the town, some legal paperwork, it took so long. I just got a call from my attorney, Mr. Yakabaski today, I think. They will sign up on the TDR this week, so I can apply for the building permit.
Hooray.
That was the delay.
That
It's
was
been a
the
while,
delay.
hasn't it?
Yeah.
They didn't knew how to do the TDR paperwork, I think.
Okay, so as soon as we hear from, we get the official papers, we need papers on that, just to make sure, right? This is already
We
approved.
could verify, sure,
Yeah.
but.
Well, I'm saying that, certainly not because of you folks, but because it's been a while, so we should have.
Verification,
Verification.
yeah. I'm pretty confident, but I'll get
So am
I will
Fine.
drop
Paper
off the
verification.
paperwork from the TDR.
Okay.
That's what
Okay.
you're looking for,
Yeah.
TDR paperwork?
So they wanted to postpone the start of their pilot to, 2019-20. And the schedule is in the back of the resolution.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You're you're welcome.
So do you wanna vote on this pending verification?
Yes, we have to vote on that, correct?
You do have to vote on it.
Extend it, yeah. So we're gonna vote to extend it
I'll
per
make-
their request.
I'll make a motion to extend,
Good.
To delay
To del-
the start of the pilot.
All right,
well, I have a question,
Sure.
I have a question on that, when it says 2019 to 2020, when does that start in 2019, just to,
That's based on the tax year, which is the
December
taxable status.
1st.
Right, well, they'll get their bill December first, actually, the end of December, for the 1920 taxing year, which actually, the taxable status date's March first, so it's a little off the calendar year, so that's why it's 1920. It will not start
1920?
this year. Their pilot will begin next year.
Yep, got it. Okay.
you make a motion?
Yeah, I did, I made a motion. I did make the motion.
Okay, second?
Okay,
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All right, so all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Let me, make sure I got it then. Tony?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
me.
I'm yes, so we're okay. All right, the motion is passed and, it's approved.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks for
Jim.
coming.
Thank you so much.
I
I will
get,
bring the TDR paper.
Okay, good. Good to see you again.
Same here.
Now we hope there's just good weather for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
bye-bye.
Okay, good luck. It took a long time to get the turn away, so ridiculous.
When did we work on that? Like last year?
No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Wow, that much time.
It was, yeah. 2017, well, 2017, it was last year. Looks like a year and a half.
One of the years, yeah. Wow. All right, that's it for old business. Now let's move on to new business. And, we have consideration of a tenant for Epic, 5318. That is, just to make sure that you know, that's Summer Wind. And it's to reoccupy. That would be a lease, correct, Tracy?
Yes,
Yes, the Joe's
to reoccupy the
Garage.
former
Somebody's
Joe's
gonna-
Garage.
Yeah, that would bring Joe's Garage back to, in operation. So, this,
And just to clarify, right, there are no changes, this is a Riverhead IDA project that was approved years ago, but we have to, approve the tenancy
right.
of the
Correct.
new person taking over that space.
okay.
Make
A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve of the new tenant.
Second.
I'll second.
All right. Now, discussion? Anybody wanna know exactly
Was
what
that
they're
Bob
doing?
or Tony? Was Bob,
Bob.
okay. Or, okay.
Can you give us, is there any differences, or is this just
Well, it's a
different person
startup.
running the operation?
It's a startup operation. I did forward the applications to the board. Just to clarify, you know, on the newer projects where we have multi-tenants, we have stronger language in the beginning as far as approval for the tenants. This being an older project, it's in the closing documents that you can't have certain tenants, there's the scope of the project, and we try to obligate the tenants for the reporting, purposes of reporting. And I don't have the summary. I don't have the summary of what type of restaurant it is, but it is a startup,
I had it in the name,
Riverwalk Bar and Grill.
yeah.
It'll be good to see that space being utilized again.
Yes.
It's a beautiful building.
It was the same type of operation. You've already approved that.
Summerwind
What
is
else?
the
Yeah,
apartment
it doesn't-
building on
doesn't
the,
Oh, yeah,
south
sorry,
side of the
sorry.
parking,
Scope of the project.
southwest side of the parking lot. And there was
this
a
what you
bar there and restaurant.
Big one.
Joe's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you
okay,
have?
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
print
what I
out
thought.
everything again because I had sent it by email.
Oh, give me a motion and we'll put it on the floor and discuss it.
Okay.
There's a motion and a
Oh, okay.
second.
All right. Anybody have any concerns with this, since we don't have the particulars? I don't, but that's beside the point. It's the same business.
Same type of business,
Same.
doesn't change the
We're
scope
happy
of the
with the
project.
owner, and we're,
They're actually just waiting on their SLA license.
somewhat of a formality for this one, it would seem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Approved. Then the next one is consideration of a tenant for Woolworth. That is number 5418.
So actually, Robert James, occupies part of the space in this building,
Mhm.
and, they needed to downsize. So the owner of the property, condensed their unit and created another new unit. This is a, telecommunications business. They have 2 other locations, and this is actually an expansion in Riverhead.
So they currently have a space downtown,
Yes.
and they're moving to this?
No, they don't have a space in downtown. They have one on 58.
Oh, okay,
They have 2 other locations in Riverhead,
okay.
and this will be their 3rd.
And they're
Okay.
already in residence.
Sorry, one's in Hampton Bays. One in Hampton Bays, one in Riverhead, and another one in Riverhead, in downtown. They occupied additional space.
They're already open.
They're already open.
So, where, is the one on 58, is that by the Chase Bank?
853,
Oh,
Old Country Road.
I was curious, okay.
So this is slightly backwards. Technically, they being Woolworths, they told us before.
Yes.
But it's mostly.
But it's not a use that we would have prevented.
Right.
It's within the scope of the project, and it is an expansion.
Did we have to remind them?
I did.
Unfortunately, that happens a lot, but
Yeah.
we forget the nitty-gritty of the conversation. All right, somebody give me a motion?
Motion to adopt resolution 5418.
Yep. Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, that's approved. Consideration of amendment to fee waiving policy.
Nope,
We
we
did
did it.
that one.
Sounds
We took
very
those out of
familiar.
order.
And then we have D, consideration of tenant for firehouse, number 5718. We're not ready to go forward with that.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be bringing that back up at a further date, some further date. And the consideration amendment of fee schedule, that's been done also, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So is there any more new business?
No, sir.
All right, let's go to the executive director's report.
So here is, I don't know if I handed this out during the last meeting, just to you and Tom, they have it. So this is the Manufacturers Symposium that New York State Economic Development Council and NISTAR were working collaboratively to put together, but I've given you this because these are the agencies we're reaching out to. And during the last conference call, it was, we strongly pushed Suffolk Community College, so they're reaching out to, there's a new head over, John Lombardi. There's a,
Yes.
so they're reaching out to him and to John.
Okay, great.
To get them on panels for that.
Okay, good.
Yep. And the tentative date's November 27th at the Melville Marriott. As soon as there's a formalized agenda, I'll forward that too, but this should be a really good event, and our job is to get the word out and get our manufacturers there. So we're working on that.
Okay, so this really is an event to help support manufacturers
Correct.
on Long Island?
Correct.
Giving them the resources they
Correct.
need to expand, to
Correct.
find
All economic development
eligible
incentives.
qualified workforce.
Right, we have a big workforce panel, by the way, just gonna read out to Rosalie and,
Oh, good.
yeah, and then, and John and someone else.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think there's a whole workforce panel.
Yes, and there's a workforce, working group as part of the REDC.
I think so the list, it's on here.
Okay.
And we came up with a couple more names for New York State Economic Development Council to reach out to.
Right.
To get them to participate.
Good, very good.
There's like 27 speakers.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's
That's
the
a full
goal,
day.
that's the goal
That's the
anyway.
I missed this and or cannot find it, what's the date?
November
waiting.
27th.
27.
Time if you know?
It's, the agenda's on the back of that, and this is all proposed at the
There it
moment.
is, okay. 12/27, fine.
Yeah, it should be really good. You were gonna ask something, Bob, or no?
Yeah, I was wondering why Libby wasn't on Long Island Builders.
They may have been mentioned in the conference call as additional, this was a
Oh,
draft
okay.
sent out to us,
Okay.
and then the conference call was, can we think of anybody else? And
You're
they
talking
may
about,
have very well been
the Valley
mentioned,
Group?
actually. I might have written them down. But you know, they're still getting everybody together.
Right, and I don't see it on here, maybe I'm just missing it, but the, MEP, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, is run by Stony Brook University.
Yeah, oh, there's a whole nother list, I'm sorry, that I
Okay,
didn't
I
print
just
out.
wanna make
Of
sure.
all the schools, and I'll email you, of all the
Good.
schools that we're contacting.
Okay, but that's kind of like this is a
Yeah,
separate.
MEP is on there.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good.
Yep, absolutely. They listed, sorry, I forgot that one.
All right.
I will send that to you, so if you have any other,
Okay, good.
okay, so that's that, symposium. And then I am still working vigorously with Dawn and Brookhaven, Town of Brookhaven, to do the Opportunity Zones, workshop. We're now also the last week in November, first week in December. It's been a little difficult, one of the speakers is gonna have surgery, so we had to push it off, and coordinating with such a large group is difficult, but we're getting there. We've got speakers, we've got potential dates, we've got venues, so it's just nailing that down.
Did
And
River?
we're actually gonna create a prospectus, Dawn and I, and we've met with several developers already, pitching the Opportunity Zone and areas in downtown, as well as, you know, Elton Street, et cetera. I've been really productive this month.
That's good. So we've got approval as an opportunity zone,
Oh, yes.
and how much money is attached to that?
So there's no money. What it is a tax incentive program.
Okay,
Just the baseline, but the federal regulations have not been put out yet. We should have them any day. But it's, the basic premise is if you have capital gains, you take those capital gains, you invest them in an opportunity zone, which is all of downtown Riverhead, all the way actually up to 58.
wow,
And then all of Calverton was covered. We were very lucky, we had a very large, demographic area, to cover. If you invest in an Opportunity Zone fund or an Opportunity Zone project, those capital gains are deferred. If you leave them in for 10 years, they're completely exempt. In addition to the revenue that you have, received as a result of the investment. And of course, there's a timeline. If you leave it in for 5 years, it's like 35%. If you leave it in for 7 years, you get a little bit more less penalized, and then if you leave it in for 10 years, your capital gains is not taxed at all. So that's the premise of the program. We're still getting, we've also reached out to a couple banks to see who might be opening up a local opportunity zone, fund.
Fun.
And, but there are some funds already established nationwide, like Fundrise,
So these are private companies
yeah,
that are
yeah,
creating these
it's
funds?
very vague, actually, it's even self-reporting on your tax returns. I really don't wanna speak without having more
Mm.
information,
Okay.
because the federal regs aren't out.
yeah.
But real estate investment trust funds are
Right.
probably gonna take advantage of this, by creating, there's different avenues, and we're trying to figure out exactly how and best it would work for us here, so,
Gonna need guarantees,
it's a whole other
have guarantees?
I have no idea.
No, doesn't sound like it does, so. Anyway, let's see.
Hmm.
What else you got?
Oh yeah, we also met for a commercial agricultural, project expansion, which we did, to be told at a later date, but that's very exciting.
Yeah.
But then, Fred said that, Employment Expo's tomorrow, anybody who wants to come down, 5 to 7, so we've got that, we're working on that, and that's about.
How's it look? as,
Well, we have about 30 companies,
That's pretty much,
you know,
How
it
you
was a
go?
struggle, actually, getting companies, but we have a good diversification. Not as good as it used to be, and I have no idea as far as, attendance for job seekers. We've seen a steady decline over the last few years, so this workshop, this, expo will determine whether we're gonna participate in this in the future, to see if it's worth the work. And then here, also in your packet, on the last page of the IDA packet, I have a memorandum from our, CFO regarding the capital,
that's become quite a saga, hasn't it?
yes.
Trying to find a home.
After numerous conversations with different members of Capital One and different answers, it was finally determined that we didn't have enough capital to invest for them. So we moved along, and I happened to find, Gold Coast Bank offering some decent percentage rates. So you have something to chew on as far as the rates and recommendation, well, it's not a recommendation, she just gave several scenarios of if we use 75% of our expense, operating expense, if we use 50% or 90%,
Can't find this.
and,
Just hold a minute.
Yeah, I can't.
here,
I-
keep in mind,
Let's share this thing.
Yeah, 'cause, oh, this is on this.
Tony, you got one?
Yeah, I have, okay, good.
You're
But
the only
I-
guy who knows what he's doing
I
here.
didn't, prepare a resolution because I did want our council to take a look at it before the board, did it by resolution, so we can do it in a couple weeks when we have the next meeting.
So what are you looking
The
at?
difficulties are the government organization that we are,
Yeah.
as well as, the amount of money we're investing.
But,
So-
but it's not enough, is that what you said?
Yeah, it's just not large enough for them, for some of the banks, and, I
So
explored.
these people say you can do this.
Yes,
They'll
oh yes,
entertain it.
and very willing to come here. They only branch, I think the closest branch is Southampton, and they will come here during our next board meeting and get all the signatures they need, so not to inconvenience the board as far as authorizing, signers. They seem,
Got a question here.
I did a question, I called Brookhaven, they use Empire Bank, but their rates weren't as good, so.
So, from what I'm reading here, the money gets locked up, you can't use it
It
without
is a CD,
penalty?
right, but it's the penalty, right there is on the top paragraph, even if we had to, it's nominal. 3%, I think,
3 months
three,
interest.
3 months interest, right,
Well, you just continue to make sure that you have enough available cash to operate
Yeah.
with.
well, in the event we got into a problem in this agency, as you know, we have
You'd still be ahead
at
of
some
the game.
times gone in the red. So that's for you to chew on, and, we can discuss it at the next board meeting.
Was that Capital One's problem, that it was a government agency?
It was that, and it's not right in the memo, it's that and the fact that we didn't have a big enough amount of money to invest. And believe me, she talked to about a half a dozen people, there currently is no Long Island, representative, she had to talk to someone in the city for government agencies on staff at the moment, at least that's what they explained.
Okay.
If you come up with something else, we're, you know,
Yeah.
but that's what
no,
we found,
Can I hold on to this?
sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that is my report.
And this is as of October 11th.
Yes,
Okay, so
It's subject to change, I would think.
I would
Yes,
think so
yes.
too.
It-
But
We're suspect it's increasing.
But most things are headed up in finances, so we'll see. All right, there's nothing else here. I just have one, item for your satisfaction, that is the, town board is going to interview this week, should be tomorrow, the candidates for the, open position on our IDA board. And when they're through with that, I will get into the act as the IDA representative, and, we'll make sure that they have all the information they really need, since they are the deciders, as to who's appointed, before they make their decision. I've looked at, 4 so far. I think there's 1 or 2 more, which I'll clarify tomorrow, and then we'll see where we go from there. But it should be, pretty soon where we get a replacement for this, board member.
Very good.
Are you back, involved in the interviewing process, or?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I've agreed that, since they are the appointers, that they can interview. I still get a copy of the application, as does Tracy. But then I will join them when they get it down to, they have 2 people that they're considering to make a decision. So I'm part of that process.
Good.
Anything else?
We're good?
All right.
5:44.
A motion to, adjourn at 5:44 PM.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
And now we have one little item.
Yes, the IDA,
Old,
LDC.
LDC, Economic Job
LDC.
Development Corporation.
I'll make
Take
that.
a look at the agenda, you'll notice there's not much on here, but we need to, make sure it's official, so, let me call this order to order at
5:44.
I just buried it.
4-4.
44, yes. Okay. Give me a motion to adopt the proposed agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Second, I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. The approval of minutes, this would be the minutes of
Not
April.
April.
Not
Septem-
April, it was last month, right?
There, I had them up there. I don't know where they went.
Well, it was September 10th,
We did have a meeting September 10th, so it was,
Right.
so please
September.
change that.
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, this should be amended to, we're talking about approving the minutes of September 10th, 2018.
I'll make
Motion has
the
been made,
motion.
second.
Second.
Any conversation? All those in favor, aye, with the change in the date.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So approved. Treasurer's report, oh, it'll take you a long time, it's, seems to be zero.
I need to I need to borrow somebody's.
Okay.
I have it, because I don't have it on.
Anybody get to that quickly?
I'm gonna have to do some.
I think it's $250, I almost have it memorized.
Maybe 500.
There you go.
I gave you
There
both.
it is.
Oh, thank you.
I knew you'd find it. Yes, all right, no problem.
Okay. Where are we? Okay, so, wait, this is,
Is that the IDA?
Is that the right month?
this is
September?
LDC,
Yeah, October, that's October 1.
yeah, this is October 3rd. So, LDC, oh, okay, this is, the month-end balance of the LDC People's Bank checking account was, $111,012.75. A wire transfer will be initiated to the Riverhead Charter School in the amount of $110,262.75.
And what's the difference?
Only $250.
You nailed it. All right, a motion to accept that report, please? Thank you. Second?
Second.
Oh, okay. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, treasurer's report's okay. There are no committee reports, no audit, no governance, no finance. All business the same as with the IDA, we have to,
Oh, I know.
approve the proposed budget for 2019. This also went the same way of the IDA budget?
Yeah,
You approved
it got
and then
sent,
we
I don't,
it to
they
the
don't,
town?
really don't have the same regulations, but we do it anyway, and we sent it to the municipality, and there were no comments on this whopping zero budget.
Give me a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Motion, I'm sorry,
I did.
and Bob?
Second,
Yep.
Ken.
new business, none? All those in favor of adjourning at, six,
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
seven?
Second.
Agenda is
And
so
a
messed
second,
up.
all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
That wraps up the Economic Development
Thank you.
Corporation, and, we are out of here. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you.
And it's time for a bigger meeting the next time around.
I will not be at the next
Yes.
meeting.
Folks will get all of their act together and we'll be, in gear. Okay, we're done.
Did you